The pain is not in your arm and your leg, the pain is in your head. Words of Romeo Dallaire in the documentary War in the Mind. Director Judy Jackson gives voice to soldiers living with post-traumatic stress in the documentary, and she spent time with soldiers and their families as they struggled to live their lives. And Director Judy Jackson joins us now for more On the Left Coast from Victoria, British Columbia. Judy, I've got to tell you, this documentary is coming up immediately after our broadcast tonight. I watched it yesterday, and it is incredibly powerful. Congratulations to you for getting it done. But let me ask what initially compelled you to want to make it.
I've been making documentaries in very difficult parts of the world most of my life, covering human rights and social justice. So I was in Chile under the dictatorship, Argentina under the dictatorship, many films like that. And I've met many people from my business, journalism, that have post-traumatic stress disorder. I always knew it was a huge problem. And then I saw it coming up with soldiers as well, and I thought we needed to talk about it.
You got your cameras into some very private and personal and emotional family meetings as the people involved in this subject try to cope with it. How were you able to get access to all of that?
First of all, I'd just like to say that my condolences go to the families of the soldiers who've recently committed suicide. My heart reaches out to them. The deal with all the soldiers was that they could speak if they wanted to. They didn't have to speak if they didn't want to. And if they wanted another day to be removed from the film, they could also do that. So, and I think the main reason that they did it, Steve, was because they wanted to let us, the audience, know what it's like to have PTSD. They did it in order to help everybody else.
So that showed not only the original courage from the battlefield, but also in allowing their lives to be exposed in that way. Nobody had second thoughts about it?
Nobody had second thoughts. Some of them don't like seeing it too many times now. I should also say the film raised $1.5 million to help with more therapy for the soldiers in the Veterans Transition Program.
Well, you refer to the fact that the film came out a couple of years ago, and we're showing it tonight, but Romeo Dallaire, who of course had his own PTSD issues as a result of his efforts in Rwanda, made a prediction. What prediction did he make?
In the film, and he says it twice, and people who watch the film will see this, he says that he predicts that, and he says it's very sorry about this prediction, but when we pull soldiers out of the battlefield, we often forget to give them services that they need. And so we ramp everything down. And then he says, he predicts this, he's very sorry to predict it, but then we will see more suicides.
And he has sadly been correct about that. I think one of the things that I found most shocking, having seen the documentary, is that it seems like in most wars, twice as many soldiers are dying of suicide after the war, after they come home, than who died on the battlefield during the war. What are we botching so badly when they come home that this happens so much?
I think that's the answer we all need to be searching for. At the moment, 22 soldiers are killing themselves every day in the United States, 22. But at least in the United States, they're recognizing that they have a problem and they're trying to do something about it. In Canada, when I look at the statistics, I feel like Alice in Wonderland because I'm getting a set of statistics from the government that are completely different from individual private surveys. We don't look at suicides in people who've left the army. We don't look at suicides in reservists. We don't cover them. We don't follow them. So I think the statistics, well, like I say, I don't know about what these statistics really are. I just feel like Alice in Wonderland every time I try to figure them out.
Judy, you, of course, have pointed your camera at a very macho culture, the military. And I'm wondering, how does the military brass view suicide?
Well, you've seen last week, all of the top people in the army have come out and said, please come forward if you're feeling pain, if you're feeling emotional pain. The problem in doing that is at lower levels that may not be acceptable. And the problem also is that there is a stigma. And I'm seeing something else come out here. The whole idea is to step out, forget stigma, be honest and come forward. But we're also seeing, I think, some of these suicides are connected to people being dismissed from their jobs in the army because they're no longer able to serve. And I think that you cannot really go on Civvy Street and say, hi, here I am, I've got PTSD, give me a job. So I don't think it goes down very well in your life or my life or the people that are higher that we know.
But is it your view that if a treatment for PTSD can be found, these suicides can be prevented?
I think you have to say every suicide is preventable. And it's not to do with treatment, it's to do with people knowing that there are people in pain. It's to do with community, it's standing up for each other.
And it's still the case, I guess, among too many soldiers that in this macho culture, they feel they can't really, you know, it's one thing to ask for treatment for a leg that's been blown off, but if your head hurts, there's still this sense that I can't seek help for that. Is that right?
There's definitely that sense, but I think we also have to think there's another piece of this puzzle that we're missing as well, which is the wives and the children. The wives are the heroes in this. They deal with these men coming back who aren't, usually the man who comes back is not the man who went. And the children are influenced by it too. There's something called intergenerational post-traumatic stress. So if you've got it within your family, it's going to affect you. We need to be thinking very, very widely about this.
Well, we will surely do that thanks to this documentary. Thank you very much, Judy, for joining us from Victoria, British Columbia. We're really grateful for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Support Ontario's public television. Donate at tvo.org.